Hello, happy April and April Fools, a little past. We are in support of Eclipse Chocolate Bar Bistro and Bodega. We are the San Diego Storytellers of San Diego, a nonprofit in Southern California. And we have festivals, we have classes, workshops, online selections, and this is an online selection. This is a shout out to our good friends at Eclipse Chocolate Bar Bistro and Bodega. And you can get meal kits there. You can get the best homemade chocolate and soft serve and cupcakes and really delicious food. They are available most every day except Tuesday. Give them a call. They're 2145 Fern Street. And the afternoon and early evening fare is delicious. So our program is called Fools and Accomplices. And if you have ever in your life gone along with someone's harebrained scream and really regretted it, this one is for you. We have some talented tellers with us from our organization, and they are Linda Whiteside, J.T. Mooring, David Schmidt, Jim Dykeman, and myself. I'm going to be telling a story that I'm entitling Fools and Accomplices. Well, this particular brand of foolishness that was perpetuated across Europe to North Africa and back again by one of my best friends forever, Joan, and myself, this particular brand started in York, England, and it's part of the Cinderella syndrome. That part where she stays too long at the ball. Okay, well, we adapted that part. And in York, we had a couple seamy moments. We extricated ourselves from the situation and we went back to our lodging place, going up the stairs and really suffering no consequences except tiptoeing up the stairs. But as our trip progressed, our consequences progressed. And we were headed to Scotland. I turned 25 and Joan was pushing 21. So I fancied myself the more mature, the more restrained, one of the two of us. We'll see. When we got to Inverness, we stayed in a youth hostel. And of course they had rules and regulations. And that night we were at some pretty unsavory party. And we left finally at my behest. And when we came and knocked at the door of the youth hostel, the hostel keeper greeted us. "Oh, girls, you've broken the curfew. Well, you can come back at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning and we'll let you in." "Oh, girls, it's going to frost tonight. You know, rules are rules." Yes, we turned around and we headed out to the beckoning park benches, and it's under a park lamp, and there we each curled up in our own version of fetal position, and that silence of the evening was punctuated by, "Are you awake?" or "What time is it?" as we shared one watch. We were ready at 7 o'clock to go in. My shoes had frosted and they were turning up like this at the toes. My face had frosted. We knocked at the door and the hostel keeper let us in. He welcomed us and I suggested, "Do you think you could turn up the heat just a notch or two?" And he looked at us and said, "Well, the prescriptive time and date to turn on the heat for the entire season has not yet started. It'll be in 72 hours. You're welcome to go upstairs." So we went to bed fully clothed, and I was still wearing my shoes with the shoe tips like this. So in Ireland, we were caught in the rain, and I put my shoes in someone's oven, and then the tips curled up like this. And here's a little story from the wise fools of Chelm, a mythical village in Poland. There was once a man named Selig, and Selig had a fever and an itch to go to Warsaw. He had heard the wonders of it, and he went to his wife Mindel to tell her. Mindel, my heart, I've got to go to Warsaw before I die. Oh, Selig, you're dying? Mindel, my heart, I didn't say that. I'm not going to die today, but I'm going to Warsaw. Well, you're a poor sage and therefore have no money. You can't go. I will walk. You will wear out your shoes. I will wear my shoes on my hands. Ugh, what could she say to that? So she wrapped him up some bread and some cheese and gave it to him to carry out. And as he left, feeling expansive, he remembered he was wearing his shoes on his hands. And so he went along. And then he came to a fork in the road. Oh, he sat down to eat his lunch and took his shoes off his hands, of course. Oh, it was delicious. And feeling a little drowsy, oh, this fork in the road, I see that this side is Warsaw and that this side is Chelm. Well, in case I sleep too late and it's dark and I can't see the sign, I'll put my shoes pointing to the Warsaw side. And so he did. And then, well, a would-be shoe thief sneaked up. Ugh! These shoes are good for nothing. They have so many holes. They are only good for sieves. Ugh! And he drops the shoes in the other direction. Now, you know that and I know that, but our hero does not know that. And when Selig awoke, he didn't even consult the sign, although it was still light. And so he puts the shoes back on his hands and he takes off. And he gets to the village and he thinks, oh my, this city looks exactly like my village. And this neighborhood looks exactly like mine. And that house across the street, that looks exactly like my house. And the woman and two children who are going into it, they look just like my family. But I know they are not my family. And then he was standing in the street. Well, when Mindel got inside, she picked up the window. Selig, what are you doing out there with your mouth gaping wide open, standing in the street? Come on in for dinner already. And so he came in and he watched Mindel. Her every movement, her gestures, her nuances were exactly like his wife. And she had the same name. So interesting. And then the children came and hugged him and held on. And oh, they looked so much like his Moishela and his Shainala. But no, these are not my children. And then he noticed that the woman burned the roast in the exact same spot his Mindel burned the roast. And he stayed. I want to see this Selig when he comes in, to see if he's exactly like me, this other Selig. And if he has not yet died, Selig is still there today, waiting for the other Selig. And this is to the length that the wise fools of Chelm and sages will go to know the truth. Back to Joan and me. Well, my shoes pointed all the way to Morocco. And there we went through France and Spain. And I could regale you with all evening with stories of our adventures in Casablanca and Marrakesh. But instead, I'm going to tell you about the beautiful kindness of the Moroccan people as exemplified on buses. When the bus would stop, a blind person or two would be helped on the bus, and they would stop at each passenger and collect alms, and each passenger gave alms. Well, we were about to depart for Marrakesh, and I went and paid the proprietor of our rather squalid lodging place, and I gave cash, and I didn't ask for a receipt. And then Joan had been cleaning the room and tidying, and we took our suitcases and we went, I would say, at least halfway, maybe more, down to the train depot. We were in the downtown section, and all of a sudden, as if a magic lamp released this towering genie in the form of the proprietor. Now, I knew this man had misfortunes. He had a wooden peg leg, as if in a pirate film. He started to yell, "You didn't pay!" "Oh, yes, we did pay. I paid you personally." And then he had his little accomplice or apprentice or whoever he was I used to see around the motel, a little man about my size. And he started in, they were playing bad cop and good cop and then switching. He started in, "You didn't pay." "Yes, we paid. We really did pay." And then, as if on cue, all the windows, curtains parted, and doors opened in the neighborhood. Women stepped out or leaned out, and in perfect unison, almost, and in English, "You did not pay. You didn't pay. You owe. You owe." Such tumult. Whew. I had a flashback. I was 6 years old and I was standing in Marshall Field's elevator, a department store in Chicago at Christmas time with my mother and Janet Gordon and her daughter, Sandy, who was kicking me. And my mother was directing me, "Kick her back." Even Janet Gordon was saying that, "Kick her back." I closed my eyes. I kicked her back. Back to Marrakesh. I let go of Joan's arm. I'd been holding one arm and the little man had been holding the other, and Joan was being stretched. But I had let go and I said, "Joan, please, please push him. Let's run." And she looked at me with those great blue eyes, and I knew that she could not do that. And so I closed my eyes and I kicked him in the shins as hard as I could. And I said, "You creep, you little creep." Creep? Little creep? He was befuddled and bewildered. He had let go of Joan. I grabbed her and we ran through the streets and we ran all the way to the train depot. "Come on, Joan." And we hopped the first train to Algeria. I would love to tell you that the foolishness, our foolishness, stopped there. But as in the wise fools of Chelm, I cannot tell a lie. Thank you.